on another tripod, which is very annoying, but it always adds a few extra seconds here. So just hang on. If you're watching this on a recorded, we're going to start in just a second, I promise. Just bear with me. Get settled. Jiggle around. Make sure your butt's comfortable in your chair. And we'll get rocking right now. Welcome, folks. I am Dr. Joe Esposito. Glad you could be here. What we're going to talk about today are the best and worst foods for weight loss. Because I did a show last week on belly fat, and it was very, very popular, unfortunately. But people always say, well, what do I do? What do I eat? So I'm just going to break it down real nice for you. And then other causes of obesity. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk for 24 minutes. You, whatever platform you're on, can type in any health question you have. John, my producer, will then read me the question at the end of 24 minutes. Then I will do another 24 minutes, and then I'll answer your questions again. So two 24-minute segments. If you can't stay for the whole thing, I wish you could. This is going to be on our podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. It's also going to be on our website, drjoe.com. So we always save these, and you can always watch them elsewhere. So I'm ready to start whenever you are, John. Ready? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. We're going to talk today about the best and worst foods for weight gain, for obesity. And we're also going to talk about things that may be causing the obesity, because I get this every day. Dr. Joe, I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I can't lose weight. So there are other things aside from just calories in and calories out that can have an influence on your weight. Now, obesity is an epidemic. It affects about 42% of the country. And obesity is 20 pounds, I think it's like 20 pounds more than your ideal weight. And 20% of children. And now you can be overweight but not obese. Obesity is when in the extreme. Major driver, heart disease, diabetes, cancer. And basically what we're taught is calories in, calories out, that's it. Okay, if you can reduce your calories, that's great. Well, there are other factors that can be involved. Could be medication, could be a thyroid issue, could be genetics involved, although genetics isn't that big a player in it. So the oversimplification of calories in, calories out doesn't work. And for example, if I was going to eat 1,000 calories worth of cupcakes or 1,000 calories worth of celery, well, calories in, calories out, same amount of calories, right? How am I going to gain weight with the cupcakes? How am I going to lose weight with celery? So that whole calories in, calories out doesn't always work. Mainstream medicine ignores something called metabolic root causes. Now, I've been teaching this for 45 years now. Let's find out why. Why do you have heart disease, diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure? I'm not saying don't treat it in the meantime, but let's find out why and get to the cause of the problem and not just treat the symptoms. It could be mitochondrial dysfunction. We did a show on that a couple of weeks ago. Insulin resistance, chronic inflammation. Is it medications? Medication can cause you to gain weight. So the shift in the way we look at healthcare is slowly happening, and I hope it happens in my lifetime, but it's been a long time coming. I mean, if we look back 30 years ago, health food stores, those were the quacks. Chiropractors were quacks. Massage therapy, acupuncture, meditation, that's voodoo stuff. It doesn't matter. Now, we're teaching acupuncture, we're teaching chiropractic, we're teaching nutrition in mainstream media, mainstream medical schools. So what was considered quackery 20, 30 years ago is now considered mainstream. So this whole calories in, calories out thing hopefully becomes mainstream soon enough. Now, the big move now, of course, is these injectables, these semaglutides. And again, I did a show on that a couple of weeks ago. And I think search injectables on my website, it'll come up. And that's causing problems because people are losing weight. Yes, it works. However, now we're seeing long-term side effects. Now, the marketing behind it is brilliant. The marketing behind it is it'll help you lose weight, and it's also helping with heart disease. It's helping with diabetes. It's helping with cancer. Yes, but it's not the medication that's doing it. It's you not putting junk food in your body. That's where we're seeing the benefits from. So if you need these medications, hey, knock yourself out. But understand that about a third of what you're going to lose is going to be muscle mass. And I don't know about you, but at my age, it's real hard to build muscle. Up to a third. I shouldn't say everybody's going to lose a third, but you're going to lose muscle mass along with your weight. And it's really hard to get that muscle back. And the way it works is you just don't eat as much. It's not like it's a magic pill that's stimulating your metabolism, making your thyroid work better. You're just not eating as much food. So that's great. But what you do eat needs to be quality foods, and that's what they're not talking about. We also need to talk about, if you're taking these medications, that you should be taking supplements. My opinion, absolutely, that should be part of the prescription. If you're going to take this, if I was writing a prescription, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, vitamin D, B complex, glutathione to help the liver heal, Dr. Joe's intestinal formula so the bowels keep moving. Because so many of you are going to get constipation, and that can be toxic as well because it slows down the whole digestive system. So, and when you stop taking them, unfortunately, many people just gain the weight right back. So one approach is it becomes a long-term medication, a lifetime medication. Or what if we just start eating the way we did when we were on the medications? A lot less. And the food we do eat should be quality. Well, that's tough, Dr. Joe, because I'm hungry. I understand. I get hungry too. I'm normal. So we're going to talk today about the good foods, the best foods, and the worst foods for weight loss. So the consequence of obesity extend far beyond weight. You have to start thinking about inflammation, heart disease, diabetes, digestive issues, brain malfunction, mitochondrial dysfunction. All of this occurs. So it's not just, hey, I'm overweight, I feel uncomfortable. We're increasing our risk of just about every disease known to man. So I want you to lose weight. Yeah, I want you to be pretty, but I also want you to think about your health. And the one thing that works for me, and maybe it'll work for you too, I don't know, is if I want something, I have cravings just like you. If I want something, I have to ask myself a question. Is it worth it? And if the answer is no, then don't eat it. And that's helped me a lot over time. Wow, I really could go for that piece of vegan carrot cake. Is it worth it? No, it's not. Okay, then I'm going to pass on it. Because, I was talking to my office manager the other day. He's about my age. And we're talking, it's like time is going a lot faster than it used to. I don't know if you notice it. Sometimes I feel like I wake up and I go to bed in the same minute. And I want to enjoy as much time as I can, and I want to do the things I want to do, but I can't do them unless I'm healthy. So there's a great line from a Steve Winwood song. While there is time, let's go out and feel everything. I love that song. While there is time, let's go out and feel everything. So I want you to enjoy life, but we can enjoy life a lot more if we're healthy. So do we enjoy life by drinking a margarita, or do we enjoy life by not drinking the margarita and being healthy? I like to look at the latter, not the former. So reversing obesity requires something called restoring mitochondrial health. I did a show on mitochondria a couple of weeks ago. And mitochondria are part of the cells that generate electricity. And it's theorized that we got mitochondria from bacteria as we evolved over the years. And it's kind of like, all right, I'm going to give you energy, the mitochondria talking to us. I'm going to give you guys energy, but in the process, you got to protect me. And so that was a deal, metaphorically speaking. We struck with mitochondria and bacteria, and now we're going against our deal. We're not protecting the mitochondria. And in your brain, you have about 17 to 20,000 mitochondria per cell. Per cell! And in muscle cells, about 10,000 mitochondria. So we got to take care of these things. And if you're eating things, like we're going to talk about the worst foods, seed oils, not drinking enough water, not giving the body the vitamins that it needs, the B vitamins, the nutrients that it needs, the mitochondria can't do their job as well as they should. And that's going to really slow down our metabolism. So instead of thinking about how do I lose weight, what if we say, how can I increase my mitochondrial function? And we do that by avoiding the same foods that cause us to gain weight and engaging the foods that are good for us to help lose weight. So you want to look at it as losing weight, want to look at it as mitochondrial function, I don't care. Song by Oleta Adams, I don't care how you get here, just get here. And that's it. I don't care what motivates you to do this as long as we get to the same place. And that's what's going to happen. So these weight loss injections, temporary relief, they don't fix the dysfunction. They don't address the cause. They just address the symptoms. So let's talk about different things that can cause us to gain weight aside from calories. Well, there is calories. Calories in, calories out. We're just not burning enough calories. That's an obvious one a lot of people know about. But not just calories, but what about unhealthy foods? Seed oils, artificial sweeteners, ultra-processed foods, foods high in monosodium glutamate. How about foods that have phthalates in them? Phthalates are endocrine disruptors. And endocrine disruptors cause your body to act like you have estrogen. Estrogen causes you to do what? Lay down fat. Fat, in turn, produces estrogen, which causes you to lay down more fat. Elvis Presley said, big musical day today. Elvis Presley said, I'm caught in a trap. You're caught in a trap. Estrogen causes fat. Fat produces estrogen. So if you're stimulating these estrogen, estrogen sites with things like artificial scents, perfumes, hairsprays, colognes, new car smell, these things you plug in the wall to freshen up the room, carpet cleaners. These are what's called endocrine disruptors. I've done a lot of shows on these in the past. But endocrine disruptors could be the reason why you're gaining weight. Wouldn't it be a kick in the head if your perfume was causing you to gain weight? Well, it's not going to be the main cause, but it certainly can be contributing to it. If you're going to use a scent, I recommend pure essential oils only. If it has phthalates, get rid of it. It's an endocrine disruptor. Okay, so read the ingredients. Does it have phthalates? PHTHLATES, I think it's spelled. If it has phthalates, you don't want to use it. Bisphenol A. Bisphenol A you get from cash register receipts. You get it lined in cans, lined in fast food packaging now. We line it because it's non-stick, but also can get in your body and act as an endocrine disruptor. So get it out of there. Parfum, P-A-R-F-U-M, not perfume, parfum. That's an endocrine disruptor. So you got to look at your environment as well. Again, it's not the only cause you're gaining weight, but these are things that can contribute to abnormal cell growth. And that gets a little tricky, I know, but you just got to clean up your life. Got to clean up your act, as we say. My house has no carpets. There's not one carpet in my house. Why? Because I don't want it breeding bacteria and germs and viruses and fungus. And then if I clean it, I'm going to be using endocrine disruptors. If you do have carpets, I recommend using a company that doesn't use any chemicals. And that's the best way to do it. Can be done. Takes a little extra work there, doesn't it then? Saturated fats. If you're eating a lot of saturated fats, hydrogenated oils. We talked about canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil. These oils can affect the mitochondrial function because the mitochondria and the cells themselves have walls around them. And if you have good fats in those walls, it allows nutrients in and waste products out. If you have bad fats, it's not going to allow nutrients in and waste products out properly. It'll work, but it's not going to work as well as it should. Genetics. I get this one a lot. My mother was fat, so I'm going to be fat. My father was fat, so I'm going to be fat. It runs in my family. Now, my mother was overweight, my father was overweight, my sister was overweight. They're all passed. I'm not. So the rule is this. Genetics loads the gun. Lifestyle pulls the trigger. I may have a genetic predisposition to be overweight. I do. Based on my entire history, I could look back all the way across both sides of my family. Overweight. So if I have a genetic predisposition, I just have to not pull the trigger and not allow that to lead my life. I have trouble with weight. And I don't have trouble with weight every meal. I don't have trouble with weight every day. I have trouble with weight every meal. I have to look at every meal and say, is this the best choice? And if it's not the best choice, the answer is no. And I intermittent fast. I try not to eat many days, 12 to 16 hours a day. Now, I don't do it every day because the studies are showing now you want what's called metabolic flexibility. If you do it every day, your body thinks this is the new world I'm in, and I'm going to starvation mode. I got to store fat. I got to hang on to it. Again, that's very simplified. But if you shake it up, maybe 3, 4, 5 nights a week you intermittent fast, or days, however you want to do it, and then the other days just have a normal meal. And this way you can create that metabolic flexibility. And then your body says, okay, I know food is coming. I'm fine. I'm going to be okay. So don't rely on genetics alone to say this is why I'm gaining weight. You could have hormonal and metabolic issues. Birth control pills mess with your hormones. What can they do? Cause you gain weight. Go through menopause, ladies, men. A lot harder to lose weight as you get older, isn't it? Yeah, it's a lot harder. We do a test at our office. It's called a Dutch test, D-U-T-C-H. And the Dutch test, we can measure your hormones, but not just your hormones, but we call the hormone metabolites. When a hormone breaks down, what do we do with that information? Is it breaking down properly? Is it not being passed out properly? Is it not being built properly? So with the Dutch test, we're going to get a lot more information at a blood work, and then we can kind of say, okay, let's try to find out where the breakdown is in this chain of events. And I do this a lot for men and women. Doesn't matter, man or woman. And we can find out where the breakdown is in their hormones. Because men say, well, I'm low in testosterone. Okay, let's find out why. Well, what do you mean find out why? Why don't I just take hormone replacement therapy? Because if you take hormones, men and women, from an outside source, eventually your body's going to say, you know what, Joe? You got plenty of testosterone. I don't have to make any more. And so now my production levels drop. That's why if you take, let's say, steroids, bodybuilders, okay? And you get these big muscles, steroids, testosterone, got all these muscles. Well, eventually the testicles start to shrink. Because the body says, I've got so much testosterone, I don't need the testicles anymore. And they start to atrophy. They start to shrink. So just be careful with that. I'm not a fan of outside hormones unless you need them. And sometimes you do, by the way. Medications, antidepressants, antipsychotics, steroids, anti-epileptics, beta blockers, diabetes medication, birth control pills. These can all cause you to gain weight. So if that's the case, you have to be extra careful. Maybe you need the medications. I don't know that. But what if we can, A, get you well enough so you don't need the medications, but B, what can we do to deal with it if I am on the medications? But let me say that again. What if we can get you well enough that you don't need the medications? That's the approach we like to take. We want to find out why. You know, the big buzzword now is functional medicine. And in functional medicine, the whole goal is why. What caused that? And what caused that? And what caused that? You're like a little kid. Mommy, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? That's how I am when it comes to my patients. I want to dig really deep into finding out what's going on. So if you have a health problem, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, hormonal issues, nutrition concerns, make an appointment to come see us. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. I want to be your doctor. So if you have neck pain, back pain, digestive, whatever it is, go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Book an appointment. Stop suffering needlessly. The sooner you get to me, the easier it is to fix. Now, normally the first visit is $940, but for you, my listeners, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Now we have a starting point. We have a plan. How many of you have a plan? Many of you don't. You might have health insurance, but you don't have a health care plan. This is a health care plan. And let's find out, is it chiropractic? Is it nutrition? Is it maybe you need a medical referral? Maybe it's a medication. I don't know. drjoe.com. Book your appointment. Stop suffering. If you're in a car accident, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. You're going to get calls from scammers. Go see this doctor. Go see this lawyer. It's illegal. It's a felony if they call you. And if a lawyer is doing it, they should be disbarred, and they can be disbarred. If a doctor's doing it, they can lose their license. So don't fall for the scam, and don't be part of the scam, because what if your lawyer goes to jail? Well, then you don't have a lawyer anymore. If you need a lawyer, if you need a doctor, you need a referral, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with the people that I know that I can trust. If you want to come see us, drjoe.com. And we accept most insurances too. Now, not sleeping certainly can affect your weight. Because I don't know about you, but if I don't sleep, I'm hungry. And when I'm hungry, I want to eat junk food. So when you sleep, your body produces something called leptin. Leptin is produced by your stomach. It's produced by your fat cells, goes into the hypothalamus in your brain, and it tells you that you're full. It's a hormone. When you don't get enough sleep, your body switches and lowers the leptin production and raises something called the ghrelin production. Ghrelin is a hormone that makes you hungry. So when you're tired, ghrelin is being released, going into the hypothalamus, and you're getting hungry. So if you have sleep troubles, go to my website, drjoe.com, and type sleep in the search bar, and we have several shows I've done on sleep. Find out which one matches your needs the best. And if you're in pain, pain is a big reason why people don't sleep, come see us. My team of doctors and I are experts in pain management. Not saying we can cure you, no guarantees, but my team of doctors and I are really good at getting to the cause of your pain. Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. We have referrals from orthopedists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, psychologists, general practitioners all the time saying, Dr. Joe, we're stuck on this one. We can't get this person out of pain. We're going to give him to you, see what you can do with him. So my mother always said, you want to be your doctor's doctor. And I thought, that's a good, I like that, Mom. And I use that on one of my radio shows. I said, he's probably your doctor's doctor. Go to your doctor's doctor. They're probably the best, right? And we see a lot of doctors as patients. So we'd love to see you as a patient. If you're under stress, it raises something called cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone produced by your adrenal glands, and it causes you to lay down fat. And we said fat produces estrogen, which also causes you to lay down fat. So if you're under stress, chemical, physical, or emotional stress, you've got to stabilize that. You got to get to the cause of the stress. Now, physical pain, physical stress, my team of doctors and I are really good at. Chemical stress, we're really good at. Emotional stress, I can't change the fact that your spouse or your partner dumped you. I can't change the fact a family member passed away. I can't change the fact you're having financial issues. What I can change is hopefully get you healthy enough through the physical and the chemical so that the emotional is better to deal with. And there's so much research I've been talking about for 45 years, it's finally coming to light that the gut, your digestive system, has a direct correlation to your emotions. And so if the emotions are out of whack, we always have to say, what can we do to fix the gut? Can't fix the fact that, my girlfriend broke up with me, but I can fix the fact that you're able to deal with it better. So with emotional stress, we see a lot of people with emotional distress, and a lot of therapists will send their patients to us. And we work on them and then send them back to the therapist, and we work together in conjunction to getting the person well. And again, emotional and physical factors can cause you to gain weight too, kind of the same thing. You're an emotional eater. Well, you're just eating to get high. You're eating sugar to release dopamine from nucleus accumbens or cumins, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And that's going to release dopamine, and dopamine is going to give you pleasure. And so I like sugar because I get high from it. You like sugar because you get high from it. And it makes me feel better just for a second. Doesn't fix the problem. Actually makes it worse long term. Environmental issues. You may be in an unsafe environment. You may be in a food desert. I understand those are things that can cause us to gain weight too. But even if I go to a store that sells food for $1, I think it's $1.25 now, you can still get better choices. You can get canned vegetables. You can get canned beans. Right now, on my desk, in my office, at my office, I have a can of beans. Plain old black beans, organic. In an emergency, I didn't get time to eat lunch. I'm running late with patients. I have to go to a meeting. I can pop open that can of beans and eat it right out of the can. Now, is it ideal? No. But it's a heck of a better choice than ordering something that's going to be a hamburger and fries and a soda. So maybe you have to rethink what you consider a meal. Maybe a can of beans isn't such a bad idea in an emergency situation. It doesn't have to be every day, but it's okay. But I probably need to do this. I probably need to do a video where I go into one of these dollar-type stores and say, okay, what's the best choices? Do this, do this, do this, pickles, whatever I can. May not be the best choices, but they're better choices. Frozen vegetables, they're fine. Bag of frozen vegetables for $1.25, heck of a lot better than a hamburger for $1.25. So you have to start thinking better choices. Now, as you get older, it's a lot harder to lose weight. I understand that. We have something as we get older called sarcopenia. Everybody has it. It's not a disease, it's a condition. You lose about 1% of your muscle mass per year after 30. So by the time I'm from 30 to 60, I've lost a third of my muscle mass. I could probably see that. But that's why you have to work harder to keep those muscles working. When I do radio shows, when I do lectures, especially I'm not on camera, every time we go to a break, I do squats. I do cross crawls. I walk up and down the stairs every chance I get. If I have a few minutes at my office, I'll walk around the parking lot. I'll walk around the building a few times. Just keep the body in motion. I don't exercise like I did when I was 30. I can't do the work I used to do when I was 30. But I can do what I can to try to prevent or slow down that sarcopenia. And then your body needs nutrients. When you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. So I would say at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, Dr. Joe's B Complex, and Dr. Joe's Vitamin D. That's the starter kit for supplements. If you're not doing Super Green, Essential Source, B Complex, and Vitamin D, go to the website, drjoe.com, and do that. Now, there's other ones. We have creatine on the web. What's not on the website yet. We have men's hormone support, women's hormone support, adrenal support, nitric oxide. They help with muscle mass as well. And so I'm going to put together stacks of supplements for different things, and I'll put one together for muscle mass and aging too. Folks, I got to go to break. I just looked at the clock. If you have any questions, send it to me through my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Happy to answer your health questions. A little bot pops up, says, hey, want to chat? Send it in. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Podcast, Dr. Joe for the Health of It. You should subscribe to that and listen to it every chance you can. And we have over 4,000 hours of content on the website, drjoe.com. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll be right back. Okay? Good. That was the introduction. I still have all the notes for the show. That was just the introduction. So, John, you have questions for me?
What do you think about canned black beans with low sodium?
Canned black beans with low sodium are fine. I like to rinse them off because the can may have something called bisphenol A in it or bisphenol S. And they line the can with this to make it slide out of the can easier. So absolutely, though. Like I said, I have a can of beans in my office. It's not ideal, but hey, it's better than what most people eat for lunch. What else?
Does nattokinase remove plaque from the artery walls?
Yes, nattokinase is a supplement. It's made from fermented soybeans, and it can actually get in there and help break up plaque in the walls. Now, don't think you're going to take nattokinase and the plaque's going to go away. You have to stop what caused the plaque to build up. Everybody wants a quick fix. I know. I want a quick fix too. But you have to go to a plant-based diet, start to clean out the arteries, and then the nattokinase, very, very, very useful when it comes to hardening the arteries. It's a really cool supplement. What else?
I've heard that moringa is excellent for you. If so, where can I get it?
We don't carry moringa. I don't know. I would get organic moringa. I'd probably go to a health food store and get it. I think Sprouts carries it. I trust Sprouts products pretty good. So I'd go to Sprouts, this grocery store, and moringa's great. It's one of the things that's very good. Nothing is an end-all be-all, but moringa is good, and you can certainly add it to your what we call supplement stack.
What do you think about the acai berry?
Acai is great. It's wonderful. It's loaded with nutrients. It's loaded with antioxidants. Again, it should be part of an overall protocol. It's not the end-all, be-all. Like I know for a while, their multi-level marketing was selling acai berries, and they were the end-all, be-all. It's the greatest thing in the world. I wish they were. I wish there was one thing that solved all the problems, but there's not. So, but it's good.
Should I take magnesium glycinate daily? Which foods have magnesium?
Magnesium, beans, lentils, split peas are high magnesium. Yeah, magnesium's great, and we're coming out with a magnesium supplement very soon, as a matter of fact. That's another supplement we're coming out with soon because I'm trying to meet the needs of what people need, and we're coming out with one that I trust. But yes, you can take a magnesium glycinate supplement, absolutely. That's a good one. That's kind of an overall general one. Don't take magnesium oxide. It's not that good.
Are sweet peas legumes? How often should I eat them?
You can eat sweet peas as often as you want. I'll tell you a little trick that I do. In my house, in my freezer, I have a couple of bags of frozen organic sweet peas. Now, in an emergency, again, I always have these emergency foods. I'm hungry, and I don't have lunch packed. I pack my lunch almost every day, and unless I'm going out and I have plans. And so I will grab a bag of frozen sweet peas, boil them up. I'll just heat them up, really. You don't have to boil them. I'll add a little extra virgin organic olive oil to it, some organic air-dried sea salt, Celtic salt, some pepper, a little nutritional yeast. Mix it all together, and I've got like a pea casserole, basically. Very good, very healthy. Probably get the whole thing for less than $2. And it's a great source of nutrients, protein, fiber. Yeah, so absolutely. Sweet peas are wonderful. Do organic, though.
What is a good skin moisturizer?
Good skin moisturizer. Well, you really, when you put moisturizer on, you have to understand something. You're not moisturizing. You're just locking in the moisture that you have. So it's not like you're putting water on your skin. You're just sealing in so it doesn't keep evaporating out. Castor oil is very good, but it's a little sticky. Coconut oil can be a little drying on certain skin, especially your face, so I wouldn't recommend that. Olive oil works great. My Italian grandmother used to use, well, back then it wasn't organic olive oil. Everything was organic. And she would rub that on all the time, and she lived about somewhere around 100. So, yeah, extra virgin organic olive oil is great. So, another cheer for us Italians. What else you got?
Please tell me about fulvic acid benefits. What are they? How do you know how much you need and how much to take?
Fulvic acid is an ancient soil, basically, and it's loaded with a lot of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients because right now the soils have been depleted. And a lot of the food you're eating now is grown in depleted soil. So basically it's the soil, essentially. I don't know the dosage offhand. I'd have to look that up. But it's great. It's wonderful. It's just ancient nutrients packed in and taken as a supplement. So, yeah, I think it's great. I support it, and it's wonderful. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's just something that can be a part of an overall protocol. Absolutely. So I'm fine with that. What else?
That is all.
All right, guys. Awesome. All right, we're going to do part 2. In the meantime, what are you going to do? Follow me on social media. Whatever platform you're on, follow me on the other platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Please do that for me. I give you all this information. Happy to answer your questions for you. I'm Johnny on the spot when it comes to you guys having questions for me, but I need something in return. I'd love to have you as a patient, but at least follow me on social media. That's a no-brainer freebie. All right. Ready for part 2? Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito. If you just joined us, welcome. If you stayed with me, I appreciate that, of course. I know everybody's busy. We're talking today about the best and worst foods for weight loss, but also things that can influence weight loss. And the first part of the show is going to be the introduction. I talked about all the things that can influence it, whether it's genetics, which really isn't that big a player, by the way, thyroid issues, it could be metabolic issues, it could be environmental issues, and a lot of these things you have control over. You have control over your environment. You have control over your stress. Not all of it, but we can control a lot of stress. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, get it fixed. Come see us. We're really good at fixing that stuff. Can't promise you we can fix you, but in most cases we get good results. Medications can do it. If you're on birth control pills, boy, that can mess up a lot of things, including your hormones, including testosterone. You know, reports are that when women take birth control pills, they don't have a lot of libido because the testosterone levels drop. Well, testosterone helps build muscle mass, and muscle mass helps increase your metabolism. So you see how everything is connected? Unfortunately, in usual healthcare, we treat the heart, we treat the liver, we treat the spleen, we treat the hormones, but it's all interconnected. And that's the idea of functional medicine versus orthodox medicine. Taking the whole body as a function, and what can we do to fix it? Now, I am not going to get to all the notes that I have today. If you want a copy of today's notes, happy to give them to you. Just go to my website, drjoe.com, and type, let's say, cause of weight gain. Let's do that, because I've done other shows on weight loss and weight gain. I don't want to send you the wrong notes. So put in cause of weight gain, and I'll send you the notes today's show, absolutely free. My gift to you, no strings attached. Happy to send you the notes, okay? And then you'll have a printout of what exactly we're talking about today. So cause of weight gain, drjoe.com. Send me an email. A bot pops up. You send it there. Contact us, however you want to do it. Use the bot, though. It's a lot easier. Now, obesity isn't about willpower. This is a complex, multifunctional condition. Genetics, biology, lifestyle, environment, physiology, all of this comes into play. And we try to narrow it down to say, I'm going to take a shot and ruin my appetite and lose weight. Will it work? Probably. Are there side effects? Definitely. So even if you do the shot, it's up to you. But you have to understand, I need to be taking Super Green, Central Source, B-complex, vitamin D. I would take glutathione as well to help clean out my liver. Dr. Joe's intestinal formula, make sure my bowels are moving properly. So there's a whole protocol you should be following aside from just taking the shot and not eating. That's dangerous because then you go into malnutrition. And that's a big concern of mine. And sometimes the side effects, like the slow bowel function, everything, don't reverse very easily, sometimes not at all. So there is a risk involved. So I want to do the most effective, least expensive treatment for anything. That's not it. Okay, that's, what is it, $1,200, $1,500 a month now for these medications? It's kind of funny that you pay $1,500 to not eat. It's kind of an ironic twist there. But again, weight loss is not just about willpower. It's this multi-complex process that goes on. Because if it was just one thing, we wouldn't have a 41% obesity rate and about a 60 to 7% overweight rate in the country. There's things that we can do. So let's talk about the worst foods you should be eating. All of the foods we're going to talk about now, I want you to take out of your life. Not sometimes, not as a snack, not as a treat on Thursday, out of your life. And the reason is when you eat the foods we're going to talk about now, you have cravings. Constant craving, another song there. You have this constant craving, and you say, well, I was really good, and I've lost 5 pounds, and I'm doing great, and I just had a donut, and I'm going to have a second donut because I've been really good. Does that ever work? No, it never works. You'll gain the weight right back again. So let's talk about sweets. Sodas, fruit drinks, energy drinks, sweet tea, high amounts of sugar, no fiber, no nutrients. They spike your blood sugar, raises insulin, and then when insulin is raised, what happens is you create something called insulin resistance. And just about every disease known to man is directly or indirectly linked to insulin resistance. So what happens is I eat something sweet. My brain says, hey, I got something sweet. I got to get this sugar out of the blood. Because if sugar's in the blood for too long, the blood becomes acidic and I die. So what does the body do? It sends a message to my pancreas. Pancreas releases insulin. Insulin goes out to the cells out in the body, and it acts like a key. It goes into the cell and opens up the cell like a key and lets the glucose, the sugar, into the cell so the cell can utilize it as fuel. That's how insulin works. So you eat a lot of sugar. You produce a lot of insulin. Now the cells say, wait a minute, if I keep opening up and letting more sugar in, it's going to gunk up the works. I can't let more sugar into the cells. I already got it more than I need. So the cells say, I'm going to resist that insulin. I'm going to resist the insulin from opening me up. So now you become insulin resistant. There's that word, insulin resistant. So now the sugar's floating around in the blood. The body says, I got to get this sugar out of the blood somehow because it's going to kill me. So what do? I send it back to the liver, and the liver converts it into glycogen. Glycogen is stored energy. It's stored sugar is all it is. Once all my glycogen stores are filled up, and that happens pretty quickly, the body says, what do? I don't know what to do with all this sugar. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to send it back to the liver. I'm going to convert it into triglycerides, and triglycerides are going to be stored as fat. That's how sugar turns into fat. The story of fat. And sugar is breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, fruit juices, beverages, alcohol. So that's how sugar converts into fat. So I want you to think about this. The reason I'm converting all this sugar into fat is because I've become insulin resistant. There's a big word for insulin resistant. It's called what? Type 2 diabetes. And so what do? We give you insulin to try to force the sugar into the cells and get it out of the blood. Well, that's not a good approach either. Eventually, that system doesn't work. So we really need to cut down on our sugar intake, to cut down on our insulin production so that we're not insulin resistant. Over time, the cells will become more sensitive again, and you'll be able to start eating again. That insulin resistance is, in most cases, reversible. I'm going to say that again. In most cases, insulin resistance is reversible. How cool is that? So, go to my website, drjoe.com, type diabetes in the search bar, and you can listen to the show I did on the process that means. Not all cases, but most. Fried foods. How about French fries, chicken, donuts, calorie dense, bad fats, inflammation. Not good stuff. And when you fry something, you create a chemical called acrylamide. Acrylamide is linked to cancer. So not only is it bad for you, it can increase your risk of cancer. Processed meats, fast foods. This is tough, but we know that cold cuts create cancer components in the body. And so you got to cut those out. And if you want to have a sandwich, instead of having cold cuts, have a tomato, have some hummus on the sandwich. Use sprouted bread. Sprouted bread, you're going to absorb less sugar. Take the sprouted bread, freeze it, and then take it out as you need it, and it's going to become a resistant starch. You're going to absorb 40% less carbohydrates from the sprouted bread. And sprouted bread don't give you those cravings like the bad sugars do. So sprouted bread with hummus and tomato sandwich, maybe some pickles on it or some cucumbers. Now you've got a meal. Maybe add a little vinegar to it. Vinegar stabilizes blood sugar as well. Oh. So now I'm thinking about how can I make each meal better? That's what I want you to think. How can I make this meal the best it possibly can? Well, if I'm going to have a salad and I put vinegar on it, vinegar stabilizes my blood sugar. Oh, I should do that then. If I'm going to have a sandwich, maybe put some vinegar on it like an Italian sub would, and that'll stabilize my blood sugar. Oh, okay, I can do that. Baked goods, packaged baked goods especially, the high fructose corn syrup, fructose has to be converted into glucose, and in the process can create fatty liver. Fatty liver is a good reason to gain weight, especially belly fat, because a lot of times if it's belly fat alone, what that's telling me is the liver is swollen. You may have swollen liver, which is causing some of the problems. So that may be why our belly's sticking out so much. Artificial sweeteners actually cause you to increase your desire for sugar. And most studies I've read show the more diet sweetener you use, the higher the weight gain. So cut out those artificial sweeteners. It's one of my 7 deadly sins. Breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. You've heard me talk about those. Again, converts into sugar. Sugar has to be utilized. The cells become resistant. The body converts it into glycogen. After glycogen stores are filled, converts into triglycerides. Triglycerides get stored as fat. There's a lot of physiology in 30 seconds right there. But that's why breads turn into fat. And so that's why we got to cut those out. And when you eat them, if you're like me, you like them and you want more. I don't know about you, but if I have a piece of bread, I want more bread. If I have a bagel, I want more bagel. If I have a cookie, I want more cookies. So avoiding them altogether is going to be your best bet. If you do treat yourself, understand. 1, you're allowed to have 1. When you start craving more, remember what I just told you. It's my brain releasing dopamine, getting me high. It's not real. Don't do more. And the same thing, candies, cookies, cakes, chocolate bars. It's tough, man. Once you have a little, you want more. And, if you have kids, it drives them crazy. Well, guess what? It's doing the same thing to you. I'm going to give you a treat. That's not a treat. A treat would be a nectarine. A treat would be orange, an apple, pear, pineapple, mango, apricots. Those are treats. If you're giving them sugar treats, it's going to have a negative effect. It has to, because that's how the brain works. A lot of young kids are eating a lot of these packaged ramen noodles. Now, when I was in school, it was a little popular. Now it's hugely popular. Well, it's cheap. For $1, for $2, I can get a ramen meal. Well, that's almost no nutrients. It's all filling. It's processed. It's monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate excites the brain, burns out the brain cells. So please stay away from those packaged ramen noodles. There's nothing good about them. And I've never seen one that was good. Maybe it exists. I just haven't found it. Ice cream, dairy, rapid fat storage, increased visceral fat. I like ice cream. I don't know anybody who doesn't like ice cream, actually. But if you're eating ice cream and if you're eating frozen desserts and dairy, boy, it's not good. Now, a lot of people have allergic reactions to dairy. They'll blow up. They'll have sinus problems. They'll have gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, brain fog. Those people probably will avoid it. But many times they say, well, I don't care. I like my ice cream. I don't care the consequences. Well, think a little bit. And then alcohol, of course. What do we call it? A beer belly, right? Alcohol just messes up your liver, increases your appetite. It decreases your testosterone. And testosterone helps burn fat. So stay away from that. So again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking today about the best and worst foods for weight gain. So just to recap, and by the way, if you want the notes, this is what you should do. Just send me an email through the website, drjoe.com, and just say, I want cause of weight gain notes. Just put cause of weight gain. I will send you today's notes, and I have this all laid out in a nice little list, 1 to 10, and you can have that. It's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. What I'm trying to do, too, is in some of the notes for the shows, I'll even link you to other shows that I've done. If we're going to talk about diabetes or something, I'll send you a link to a diabetes show. I don't want to make the whole show about diabetes, and you could listen to that as well. In many cases, if there's a supplement, I'll even put a supplement recommendation in there. Absolutely free. My gift to you, drjoe.com. Just send it to me, and I'm happy to send it to you. Because, again, we try to get to the cause of your problem. Now, we talked earlier about pain. I want to circle back to that. Pain is a big reason people get overweight, because when you're in pain, you want to eat because it releases dopamine, which makes you feel good, and you try to cover up the pain. So, if you have pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, chiropractic care, most effective, least expensive treatment for pain. So if you have pain, come see us. Stop suffering needlessly. Most effective, and what else did I say? Least expensive. And we accept almost every insurance. drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. For you, my listener, I've reduced that to $299. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first treatment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Why are you waiting? I don't know. drjoe.com, book your appointment. I don't want to hear your complaints. Well, Dr. Joe, I meant to come in 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago. I know you did. Well, let's start now. But don't wait, because every day that goes by, it's going to get harder and harder to fix and may become permanent. So drjoe.com. All the supplements we talk about, Super Green, Essential Source, vitamin D, B complex, that's the minimum you should be taking. Men's hormone support, very important, and women's hormone support, very important for stabilizing hormones. Omega-3 fatty acids, essential for brain function. I take omega-3s every day. I just had my omega-3 levels tested. I was on the low end of normal. Now, I take them every day, and I'm on the low end of normal. If you're not taking any, I can't imagine where you are. And they're essential for brain function. And I'm going to do a show coming up about Alzheimer's, the causes of Alzheimer's. And one of the things we're going to talk about is omega-3 fatty acids. So if you want to protect your brain, start protecting it now. drjoe.com. If you have any questions, you can always send them through my website, drjoe.com as well. So let's get to the good ones. So I'll give you a recap real quick of the foods you want to get out of your life forever. And that would be sugar, fried foods, processed and packaged foods. Of course, baked goods, diet sodas, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, and pastas, all candies and chocolate bars, instant ramen noodles, ice cream, and alcohol. Okay, it's almost the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, isn't it? Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. So it's funny, when I came up with that 35 years ago, the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, it fits into just about any health topic I need to discuss. Now, what do we eat? All right, so broccoli, spinach, kale, cauliflower, the non-starchy vegetables, these things are great. Brussels sprouts. I know you're not going to eat them as a meal. I get it. I had Brussels sprouts the other day. I had them in the refrigerator. I had them for breakfast along with my supplements. They were great. Now, most people aren't going to do that. I understand that. So, they're high in fiber. They're antioxidants, very few calories. They fill you up. But when I eat them, I still get hungry. Oh, it fills you up because it's high in fiber. I need something more than that. Avocados are amazing. Now, if I eat too many avocados, I put on weight, which is counterproductive, what we're talking about here. So I try to do maybe a quarter to a half an avocado max a day. Now, if you can do more than that and you have a different metabolism than me, because everybody's different, knock yourself out. Avocados are amazing. I just know if I eat too many of them, I put on the weight. I just got to be careful with it. Legumes, lentils, split peas, chickpeas, black beans. These things are amazing. I said earlier, if you're listening, I have a can of black beans in my desk at my office. And in an emergency, if I don't have time to run out to lunch and I don't have time to do anything and I start getting hungry and I got to eat something, I got a lecture, a radio show coming up, I will go ahead and just pop open a can of beans and eat them right. I'll dump them out of the can. I don't want to scratch the can and get the chemicals from the can in there. I'll dump them out, rinse them out, and eat the beans. Maybe throw some hot sauce on them. Get crazy. But that's okay. You got to change what you consider a meal. Berries are amazing. My secretary, Christine, just came to me today, and she said, "Can you eat too many berries?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Good." So berries are amazing. I have a blackberry bush in my house, and finally I picked the last ones this week, I think. But, boy, if you grow a blackberry bush, you'll get more blackberries you know what to do with. I like to soak them because sometimes bugs can get in there. I add little baking soda and some water. I soak it, rinse them out a couple of times, and I freeze them. And in the morning, and I've been doing this for a long time, as long as it's blackberry season, I'll take Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, Dr. Joe's Vitamin D, add some coconut milk or almond milk, I have a little blender. I'll add some frozen berries, whip it up. I got a nice smoothie in the morning. High in nutrients, very inexpensive, way cheaper than a cup of coffee or a donut. And, boy, I feel great when I do that. If you're not starting your day with Super Green, Essential Source, Vitamin B, and Vitamin D, you should. Okay? Nuts and seeds. I have bags of nuts in my car, in my house, all over the place. I can't eat too many because I put on weight again. But, maybe a handful. And I have little snack bags, and I put them in snack bags. I put them in my glove compartment. Because if I'm driving or something, I get really hungry. Instead of stopping and spending $10, $15 for a meal that isn't going to be good for me, I'll just have a little bag of nuts, drink some water with it, wait 20 minutes, and I'm full. Don't eat peanuts. Peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, and they have a fungus on them called a mycotoxin, which is not good for you. Sweet potatoes. If you're going to do potatoes, or sweet potatoes especially, any type of potato, Cook it, leave it in the refrigerator overnight, eat it the next day or the day after that. Why? Because you create something called a resistant starch. With a resistant starch, you're going to absorb about 40% less calories if you cook a carbohydrate, cool it, and eat it the next day. So if you're going to do pasta, I'm Italian. I like my pasta. So if I do a pasta, it's a gluten-free pasta. And I take the pasta, I cook it, cool it overnight, and then eat it the next day. I'm absorbing 40% less calories. And those calories I'm not absorbing become prebiotics, which feed the good bacteria in my colon. So what I'm doing is I'm setting you up a lifestyle for weight loss. Not necessarily a weight loss plan, a weight loss lifestyle. And that's what I want you to consider. Because the weight loss lifestyle, by the way, is good for everything. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity, brain function, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Crohn's, colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, ADD, ADHD. How many diagnoses you need? If you're going to do things like quinoa is great. It's a seed, basically. And you can do the same thing. Cook it, put it in the refrigerator, use it like you would rice. If you're going to do oats, organic steel-cut oats. 3 keywords, organic and steel-cut. Because the regular rolled oats spikes your blood sugar. And we don't want to spike the blood sugar. We want to reduce the blood sugar. And so what we do is organic steel-cut oats doesn't spike the blood sugar and makes you feel full for a long time. So there's a nice little trick for you, too. Green tea has something called EGCG, and that helps support metabolism. Organic green tea, I like it. I can't drink it. I get a headache. So if I do any type of caffeine, I get a headache. So I can't do green tea. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. Again, my metabolism's a little different than yours. And then fermented vegetables. These are probiotics. These are the good bacteria. Now, I take a stack of supplements every day. Super Green Essential Source B Complex, vitamin D. I take a probiotic. I take men's hormone support, which I think you should, and women's hormone support as well. It helps keep my hormone levels balanced. I take omega-3 fatty acids. I take a probiotic. I take turmeric every day. So I take about 10 or 15 supplements every day. If you don't want to do that, and I wish you would, but if you don't want to do that, at least Super Green Essential Source B Complex and vitamin D. But you can also get probiotics from things like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, which is fermented soybeans. And the probiotics help feed the good bacteria. When you're eating everything on the good list, a lot of those things are feeding the good bacteria, which then produce something called short-chain fatty acids. One of the short-chain fatty acids is called butyrate. Butyrate activates cells in the lower part of your small intestine called L cells, letter L. L cells release, ready for this one? GLP-1. So you can actually create your own GLP-1s by eating a high-fiber diet to feed the bacteria, to create the short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, to activate the L cells to release the GLP-1s. And so you feel more full. And that's why when people take things like Super Green Essential Source to eat a plant-based diet, they say, Dr. Joe, I'm not as hungry as I used to be. Because remember, when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition. And if you front-load yourself with nutrition and then give yourself a lot of nutritious foods, you're going to eat a lot less. So here's what I want you to think about. You're going to eat a day or two of really well. You're going to have salad and chickpeas and black beans and super greens and essential source and B and vitamin D. And you're going to eat steel-cut oats if you want to. And you're going to use extra virgin organic olive oil. And you're going to have fermented vegetables. And you're going to feel great. First couple of days, you might still be hungry, but that's okay. And then you're going to start losing weight. You're going to have more energy. And then suddenly you're going to cheat. You're going to go out for pizza. You're going to go out and have some meatball sandwiches or whatever it is. And watch what happens. In a very short period of time, you're going to get real hungry real fast. And you fall off the wagon. And you start eating all those bad foods again. So when you're hungry for nutrients. Give your body the nutrients that it needs. And you'll be amazed how much better and how much longer your body works. So, folks, I'm almost out of time. I didn't cover everything I need to. So if you want a copy of today's show notes, just go to my website, drjoe.com, drjoe.com, and type cause of weight gain. This way I know which show notes to send you. Please don't send me a note that says show notes. I don't know what show notes you want. I'm going to assume it's the one closest to when you send me the email, okay? But causes of weight gain, I'll send you the show notes. It's absolutely free. It's my gift to you. So then you can have this. Hang it on your wall. These are the foods I can eat. These are the foods I can't eat. If you want to make an appointment, which you should, Let's fix your digestive system. Many times you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating. That causes you to get hungry. Let's fix your gut. And if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, car accidents, sports injuries, my team of doctors and I are really good at getting to the cause of your healthcare problems, not just treating the symptoms. So once again, thanks for being here. drjoe.com. Follow me on social media, Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll see you soon. All right. That was a lot. You have questions for me, John?
In a pinch, what are the best frozen casseroles and lasagnas to purchase at the grocery store?
Probably Amy's Organic, if I had to pick one. But I want you to think of, if you're in a pinch, what if I just have frozen peas with olive oil, salt, and pepper on it, maybe some oregano, and if you have nutritional yeast, add that. That's a lot quicker, a lot faster, a lot cheaper than if you have to go out and defrost an Amy's frozen enchiladas, whatever. It's a whole lot better and a whole lot faster, a whole lot cheaper. So, and the problem now, the prices are just insane with these frozen meals. Because I look at this stuff, I'm not full if I eat one, and one is like $8. So it's $16 for me to make my own meal at home, and it takes 40 minutes to heat up. So that's why I like the frozen veggies. So, what else?
Is grass-fed beef a good choice?
If you're going to eat animal products, organic grass-fed is going to be the best choice, yes. I wish you wouldn't eat it, but if you are going to eat it, that's what I suggest. What else?
Does the body use up triglycerides before other fat? Is it possible to have zero triglycerides?
No, you can't have zero triglycerides that I know of. I mean, perhaps there's some weird condition you might. But the triglycerides are turning into fat. So if you have high triglycerides, you have to stop producing the triglycerides. It's going to burn glucose first, then glycogen, then triglycerides and fat. That's how the body burns it. So, what else?
I accidentally overbaked my potatoes this weekend in the oven. Is overbaking similar to causing the same problems as frying?
No. As long as you don't get that crispiness on it, those are the acrylamide. So overbaking is not a problem, no. What else?
Do you prefer black beans or pinto beans? Or baked beans on occasion? Okay.
Baked beans on occasion are going to have a lot of sugar in them, so just be careful about that. I like pinto beans over black beans. I like refrieds, actually. Those are my favorites, but, in a pinch. Sometimes Mexican restaurants will put lard in their refrieds, but they won't put it in their black beans, so then I'll have the black beans. And I had one Mexican restaurant that put lard in the black beans, but not in the refried, so I had the refrieds. I like refrieds, so they're my favorites. What else?
What is avocado oil good for?
Avocado oil is one of the oils that you can probably use on a regular basis, organic avocado oil. So I would use that for like a salad, not to cook with. You can cook a low temperature, like if you're sauteing or something. You can use a higher temperature when you use coconut oil. So avocado oil, extra virgin organic coconut oil, extra virgin organic olive oil, the only three oils you should have in your life. Now, if you take an omega-3 fatty acid, that's different. But eating oils, those are the ones. What else?
Can you provide a list of foods that are low in histamine?
Basically, if you go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in "so what can I eat," but the histamine foods are usually the processed foods. The sausages, the cheeses, those are the foods that are usually high in histamine. So if you're eating a plant-based diet, the chances are you're going to get mostly low histamine foods. So go to drjoe.com and type in "so what can I eat."
How should I cook my rice?
Same way. You want to cook it, cool it overnight. That's the way you want to do it. The one that's going to be the healthiest is going to be an organic white rice from California, because rice does have arsenic in it, and the brown rice has actually arsenic in the brown part in the bran. So organic white rice from California is going to be your best bet for the lowest amount of arsenic. I know it doesn't sound right. White rice, right? Yeah.
What do you enjoy at Chinese restaurants?
What do I enjoy at Chinese restaurants? I like the stir-fried veggies. That's what I usually get. I'll have them throw tofu in there oftentimes. I always say no MSG, no chicken broth. I like the eggplant, garlic eggplant. That's one of my favorites. However, I know they're using bad oils with that. So if I do something like that, I take an extra dose of super greens and essential source to give me antioxidants to offset and if I do something like the eggplant, I'll always take napkins and blot all the oil off it, mix it up, blot the oil off again, take as much of the oil off as I can. But I do like eggplant. So, what else?
That is all.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Follow me on social media.